What's up, friends? Welcome to my channel. I'm guessing you're here on YouTube looking for a little bit of painting inspiration, so I've got you today. I think you're going to love today's project. We're going to be painting some winter trees. There's no sketching required, just a couple of blue paint colors, and if you have some iridescent colors, you can throw those in there too. I want you to just feel free to use whatever colors you have to make it any color scheme you like. Just have fun with this. A couple of important supplies you'll need for this project are some opaque white paint. I'm going to be using my Dr. P.H. Martin's Bleed Proof White. You'll also want to make sure you have some 100% cotton watercolor paper. I'm trying out for the first time this Layton watercolor block. It was super affordable on Amazon. It's 100% cotton, 5 by 7 inches. And the thing I love about blocks is that all the sides are glued down except for one little crack here where you can remove the paper after you're done with the painting, which means you can use tons of water and the paper will stay flat. It won't warp or buckle. You're also going to need a couple of watercolor brushes. I'll be using my Silver Black Velvet size 8 round brush and a tiny Silver Ultra Mini teardrop brush for the little bits of snow at the end. You'll want a rag or a paper towel for controlling how much water is in your brush, a water jar, and a palette for mixing your colors. So grab your supplies, let's get into it. So I did this little practice run the other day and I loved how it turned out. It's not too difficult, it's just a couple of key techniques. We'll start with the sky with this graded wash going from dark to light, and we'll let that dry and then we'll paint the trees. Now I know it looks a little complicated, but all it is a few practiced brush strokes. So if you want to practice the brush strokes first, of course you can, but I'd go ahead and just watch this video first and see how we do it and then give it a try. The colors I'm using today are Core Ultramarine Blue Violet. That's this one here in my palette. I have Daniel Smith Phthalo Blue Green shade. This is the color I used for the sky right here. But of course you could make your sky pink or purple or any color you want. And then I'm also having a little bit of fun with a Core Interference color. Now, what are interference colors? They're actually watercolor paints that use pigments formed by coating mica flakes with titanium dioxide. The reflective nature means that the iridescent and interference paints cannot be read in a spectrophotometer. So what that means is that you'll see a NA for the light fast rating. These do granulate. You can mix them with other colors and you can see how shiny it is right here in my palette. I played with it a little bit on this painting. You can see the reflective, shiny nature of that paint across the blue. But for my version today, I'm actually going to try mixing the interference paint with the blue. We'll just see what happens. So to get started, I'm going to dip my brush in the water, make sure it's nice and wet. And I'm going to take that clear water and put it right here in the middle of my watercolor block. And then what I'm going to do is mix up my blue for the sky, and I'm going to let it kind of touch this wet edge. You'll see what happens in just a minute. So you can see how it's a little bit shiny right there in the middle. All right, so mix up enough paint so that you don't run out. A nice, milky, juicy puddle of your blue. And we'll start at the top, and I'm actually going to tip it up a little bit to let gravity assist. I'm going to make it even more watery. And just bring that across the painting. You can see when you're working on a dry surface like I am, oops, I got a hair in there. When you're working on a dry surface, it just soaks that paint up so fast. So you're going to need lots of paint. Just keep going across the paper. And pretty soon you're going to hit that wet patch right there. I'm going to rinse my brush out, dry it, and then I'm just going to go ahead and kind of finesse that edge a little bit, so that it goes from dark to light rather seamlessly. And there's our nice little graded wash for the sky. So just go ahead and let that dry, probably about 10 minutes, or depending on your climate, you'll want to make sure that it's bone dry before we go on to the next step. Okay, once your paper is completely dry, you can move on to the next step, which is to paint the snow-covered trees. Now, what we're actually doing is painting the bits of branches beneath the snow. So it's negative painting around the white snow. And I know that sounds tricky, but it's not as hard as you think. So this is where I'm going to actually try to mix my two colors here on the palette. My iridescent or interference Watercolor with the ultramarine blue violet. And I want it to be dark enough that it's going to really show up on the paper. It might actually be helpful if I squeeze out some fresh paint. This was from yesterday. So we'll take some fresh paint, a little bit of both. There we go. And we'll combine the two so we get a nice juicy combo of the two colors. And it needs to be wet enough that it's going to go smoothly across your paper too. So definitely add in some water. Watercolors are meant to be worked with water added in. Most of the time, you're not just going to use paint straight out of the tube. So go ahead and add more so that it's nice and juicy and loaded up and ready to go. All right, let's go for it. So I have a very loaded brush, lots of creamy paint on it. I'm going to go ahead and start from left to right. And as I'm working, I'm also going to be thinking about making my trees different heights and different shapes. I don't want them all to be the same height. That would look too uniform. So working kind of quickly, just start to create little blobby shapes. Imagining that you're painting these heavy laden branches with the snow drooping down. So we're leaving little gaps between our brush strokes, right? Now this one is kind of a little short tree on this side, and I'm going to decide to bring my tree down about to here. So my tree line is going to end right around this imaginary line here. Okay, so with that established, just keep going. Load up your brush with more paint. I'm going to make this tree over here just a little taller. And so I'm just using the tip of the brush and painting little blobs, kind of in a downstroke, but at a slight angle. You can connect some of the shapes, you can make some of them disjointed. Whatever you do, mix it up, add some variety. Don't make anything too uniform or too perfect. Perfection is the enemy here. All right, making this one my tallest tree. And so a little of that blue sky will be peeking through, but that's okay. We're going to come back in with our white too if you want to add any additional snow. Keep that in mind. That's going to be our secret weapon here at the end. So just big blobs. I just love painting with blobs. Makes my life easier, that's for sure. When all the pressure is off and you're just letting your brush dance and do what it wants, boy, it's fun. So a couple little sweeps of the brush. And I'm just imagining these big branches covered in snow. Grabbing more paint as needed. Let's make the next tree a little bit shorter. So I do start with the tip of the tree, and then from there I'm just kind of zigzagging my brush down. But again, leaving gaps where the imaginary snow is just weighing those big branches down. And the looser you work, the more fresh it's going to look. So keep it fresh, keep it fun, keep it playful. And don't aim for perfection here. We're just going for a loose, painterly impression of snow-laden trees. Yours won't have to look exactly like mine. In fact, it won't. We all have our own sort of handwriting that we develop over the years with our brush strokes, right? So you just follow your heart, you paint from the heart, and just have fun, and it's going to look amazing. I'm liking this mixture of the ultramarine blue violet with the interference paint. I think it looks pretty cool. Okay, let's do another little short tree over here. And I'm trying to make sure that my snow patches don't all line up at the same spot horizontally, otherwise that just looks too patterned. So again, just keeping it loose and painterly. I can make these ones off to the right just a little shorter even. Almost like the tree line is just moving away from us in space, like that. Nice. Now I'm going to rinse that out so that I have a lighter value on my brush. I'm going to grab a little of that phthalo blue that's still in my palette mixing it in with whatever is still in my brush here. And some of the interference paint right there. So this is going to be a shiny section of the painting. And a little more water. And then we're going to add sort of a vignette, almost like these shadows cast across the snow, using big sweeping brush strokes. We're imagining maybe there's a tree out of view that's casting some shadows across. And leaving some of the white shining through. Yes. Now again, we have to let this dry all the way before we finish up with our snow falling down. And so this is ultimately how it's going to look at the end with the snow here. Let's let it dry and we'll come back at it with our white. Okay, while this is drying, we can actually start our snow. I've opened up my bleed proof white and I've got my silver ultra mini teardrop brush. Now you could also mix your white with your interference paint. So I need some more pure color here. I'm going to put that on the palette again. And my bleed proof white is the juiciest at the bottom, so I'm going to grab a bunch of that. Mix in the interference with it and a tiny bit of water. Okay. So all we have to do now is just start dotting in some snow. You can make larger, round bits of snow. You can make smaller ones. I think the variety in size is really key. And placement, you know, make sure that they're really randomly scattered about, not too perfect. Ooh, I'm liking that shine. Now, if you want your white to be as pure as possible, of course, don't mix in very much water. The water tends to thin it out a little bit so that it looks darker on the paper after it dries. So use lots of paint. Load up your brush. And then of course we can also use this to add more snow and more white to the trees if we covered up too much. Sometimes that happens. So this is kind of a way to fix it if you need to, or just add embellishments. You can add as much or as little snow as you want. Just have fun with this. Okay, so I am going to add some snow to the top of this really tall tree here, filling in those gaps, especially where we could see the sky through it. And be careful though if any areas of your painting are still wet. I'm still seeing some wet spots, so I got to be really careful not to touch my white to that. Okay, let's mix in some more interference with that. Little touch of water to keep it creamy so it doesn't dry out on me. When you use a thick opaque paint like this, it is going to have a bit of a texture to it. It's not going to be as thin as, you know, say just leaving the white of the paper obviously won't have any texture. So just expect that. When you use this technique, you'll see a little bit of a raised texture to the surface where you put the white. Blob in some snow at the top of this tree as well. And then I want to take some pure interference and add that in a little bit in the snow between the branches. And when it dries, you're going to see this gorgeous, luminous, shiny effect wherever you paint that interference color. If you want to switch to a slightly larger brush for this, you certainly can. These little liner brushes are great for snow, but then you might need something bigger for these details at the end. And you really can't see the interference paint on the white paper until we tilt it at somewhat of an angle. And then you'll get to see the full effects of the shine in there, that mica, the mica flakes. So just hold on to the end and I'll show you. All right, let's take a look. If I tilt it a little bit, you can see the subtle shine mixed into the paint there. It is quite subtle. Now make sure to add some snow coming down in front of the trees as well. Otherwise it won't quite look like it's snowing. We've got snow in the sky, but none over the trees, and that doesn't make sense. And if you accidentally drop some water on your painting, like I did there, just tell yourself, well, that's what it wanted. That's what the famous artist Joseph Zbukvich says, and I love that. I'm going to be adopting that in my paintings from here on out. That's what it wanted. Awesome. There we go. There's our finished winterscape. I hope you enjoyed painting along with me today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in another video.